I'm Emily, and today I'm joined by Anthony Holdstock from Beny. Beny came to Psyche looking to solve their brand awareness issues and gain market share in an already saturated market. And what happened next is pretty amazing to see. Let's get into it. So, tell me about your business in 30 seconds or less.
Emily, Beny is an employee benefits platform, or at least it started as purely employee benefits. We saw a bit of a need in the market for medium-sized businesses to help compete for staff, help retain their staff, and we created Beny, which is 500 plus discounts and benefits that are all in one place. And we sell that product into businesses so that they can give it to their employees.
Amazing. It sounds like an amazing platform. Are there specific areas that those discounts work with?
Yeah, we've really looked at trying to reduce the cost of living for people. So we have grocery discounts, which you can only get if you work in Coles or Woolies as an example, and they're probably our most used benefits. And then right now, one of the biggest ones is fuel. Obviously, that's a topic on everyone's conversation list with everything that's happening overseas. But we have up to 12 cents per litre off fuel, and then you can also do some other things to get more money off your fuel. But then we have a whole range of financial products. So we're out there trying to help people make their money go further. The problems we're really trying to solve is how do we help employees with the cost of living crisis that's there? And on the flip side too, how do we help employers look after their people and hopefully retain and attract staff? The benefits also are along the lines of travel. We have physical wellbeing products. We have mental health products as well and services. And what we're also trying to do is care for the whole family. So we've enabled 2 additional licenses for each for each employee of each business to be able to give to loved ones as well. So a lot of it's just trying to make things simple, make things really easy. So if a business can have all of their benefits housed in one place, their employees can access that on their mobile device and hopefully get real-time discounts to ease the cost of what's going on externally.
I love that. And I love that it's not just, the fuel or the groceries, which are, extremely important, but it's also the mental health. It's thinking of the person, their family, everything that affects them outside the office that we all know does affect them in the office too.
Yeah, we think that if you can just be, a little bit smarter with all of that, the financial well-being side, the cost of living, you can make your money go a little bit further. We also think that the stress reduction on that and the workforce that increases in terms of you get better productivity out of people that are less stressed and more calm. So if we can help, we always thought that a product like ours would also decrease absenteeism, which is a big one. And I think also reduction of staff turnover. Back in recruitment, I used to be a recruitment consultant back in the day and run a recruitment agency. And, we used to say that it used to cost a business between 1.5 to 2 times a person's salary if you were to lose them. And that was always around re-recruitment. It was retraining. It was the loss of information, the additional stress that went on to the rest of the team when someone had resigned. So, it's proven globally that these sorts of programs like Beny reduce staff turnover between 25 and 40%. So when you think about that, I think the average staff turnover in Australia is about 16% of people. So, you're talking a 100-person business loses 16 staff a year. At 25% reduction in that, you're talking 4 people, you're talking somewhere between $400,000 and $800,000 of savings by just having a program like this that can actually help you retain your people.
It's amazing which you sort of dive into those numbers to really understand the impact of just taking care of the people. And I think one of the things I really loved about your business was the Beny Day. I think that's where people can take a day to sort out their life admin, to sort out these things, get them sorted. That's such an amazing initiative that you've come up with there.
We've actually got a few really great businesses that are sponsoring that as well. So the initial idea was everybody should look at their mortgage if they have one, or their electricity and gas if they're renting or they have a place. They should look at their insurances. But financial products aren't very sexy or attractive. And uh, everyone knows you should do it, but you just don't do it. Like you get home after work, and if you've got three kids like I do, quite often it's the kids' routine, and then you get to the stage where it's to jump on the couch or read a book, and it's chill out time. And you don't really think about, okay, let's review my mortgage now, but it's also 8 o'clock. So who's going to be there to do it? And then you get to the weekend and it's like, well, I don't want to spend my weekend sorting out my financial situation. So typically it happens when you're in between jobs, which doesn't happen all the time for everybody. Or you're moving house or something along those lines. So there's a big event that makes you do that. And we're sitting there thinking, in a perfect world, how good would it be if businesses cared enough about their staff to actually give them a day off, sponsored by work, not annual leave, not sick leave. Just, Emily, take the day, but don't just review your electricity and your gas and your energy bills and all of the insurances, but why don't you book that hard rubbish collection? Why don't you go and donate blood? Why don't you go and get the gutters cleaned? Why don't you get the hard all of these little chores that need to be done that typically take up weekends? Less clutter, less stress, calmer people, better productivity. And we do have a few businesses now sponsoring a Beny Day, which is amazing. We don't push it on any company that we speak to, but it's definitely something that's we think is a huge EVP, because healthy, happy employees tends to lead to better business.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's move on to talking about your working with Psyche. So before you started working with Psyche, what was going on? What was your biggest challenge to getting your name out there?
Yeah, very good question, Em. We pre-psych, we really were just focused on our own networks. We were focused on conversations. We were focused on previous relationships, and focused on building strategic relationships too, so that we could create a bit of a one-to-many situation. We're not experts in any way, shape, or form on marketing, or I'm not. I think, we've got Jess in the team who is, obviously, and that's what she was brought in to do, is to really bring up our uplift in our marketing capacity to start to become more noticed. Having a recruitment background, we're very sales focused, if you like, or relationship focused is probably what I would prefer to talk about. Is we're happy to pick up the phone. We're happy to, do outbound reach. We're happy to get known that way. But the marketing side's probably has been a less of a focus in previous companies. However, we know that we have some really good, formidable competition, particularly at enterprise level. And in that space, we weren't known and aren't known. And so for us, it's a little bit about how do we tick multiple boxes so that we have inbound traffic coming towards us as well, and also inbound traffic coming towards us that are actually interested too, which is the next thing, right? If you're searching for us or searching for a product like Beny, you're typically looking to do something here. You're not just sitting on your heels, whereas our approach previously would be, we're trying to convince people that don't have this as to why they should have it, and that's a little bit of a different approach.
And it kind of makes sense when it's such a saturated market already. You kind of really need to get started as soon as possible with something like SEO, and something very targeted like this on the things that you're looking to be searched for, Australia, Sydney, these kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, that's I think a really positive move to make such early on.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know, often when you, and this is probably a negative, but when you're running a business, you often think about what you like as a consumer. And, I often, if I search something on Google, like I'm looking for some sort of service or product or whatever it might be, I always skip past the sponsored ads, and I skip past them because I just don't trust them.
Mm.
If I go to Canva and I look at comparisons on Canva and I see the first two sponsored, I've lost trust immediately with Canva. And I think I don't know whether a lot of people are like that, but I know I'm like that. So for me, it was more about how do we organically start to come up in these searches without it looking like we're paying for those positionings. So I often would skip past the 6 or 7 sponsored ads and then move forward to, okay, who's the most relevant? And this was really similar in my previous business when it came to recruiting. You'd look at all the sponsored ones and they were all the big global giants. And then you'd go, who are the ones coming up next? Because they're probably the most relevant ones in Australia. So for us, it was about working with an agency or working with somebody who could actually help us become more organic in that space, but also make it feel real because we want genuine relationships with our customers. We don't want to just come in, you plug in Beny and you never hear from us again. We want to build those relationships and be, not only just a platform, but also an employee value program, if that makes sense. So.
And that makes really sense that those kind of actions align within your strategy. So before you used Psyche, what had you tried? What were you doing?
Nothing, nothing. I'm not going to lie. In my previous business, we paid for some of those things to ramp us up into higher categories. And to be completely honest with you, I couldn't actually tell you whether we actually got return on investment with it. Whereas this, I know where the leads have come from, and I know exactly how it's came about. And we had an example the other day where quite a large business has reached out, and it's come directly off the work that we've done with Psyche, and that was great. And then obviously Jess in marketing and the team, we sit down and we see the results, so we know where we were versus where we are now. And I mean, it's very easy to have fantastic percentage increases when you were nowhere, but they're month on month getting better and the engagement's getting better. But we're also seeing genuine inbound leads that are coming through, and then it's up to us and the team to convert that and make those sticky.
That's incredible, really. For such a short time working in SEO, to have not only search results, but also leads coming in that are genuinely, quality leads. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think we went in pretty open-minded with it too, right? Like I think what we sort of said is, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I'm a big believer of, you can try things and fail fast and move on to something else. And I mean, we're now, what are we, 14 months in here to this relationship, and it's not going anywhere. It's something that we're very happy with. It's something that, I think one of my key strengths is evangelism, if that makes sense. And I've promoted this product to a few friends, and I genuinely do, because I think it's made a difference, and it's been value. I don't always talk about price. I talk about value, and I think price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And Beny's definitely seen value out of the Psyche relationship.
So it's definitely become a key aspect of your marketing strategy, and it's here to stay. So that's amazing to hear.
Yeah,
And so
it's definitely, yeah.
was there anything specific about AI SEO that called to you over sort of traditional SEO practices?
Oh, I think there's just a changing of the guard, isn't there? Like, I think if it was 3 months ago, it was probably ChatGPT. Now it's Claude or Cloud or however you pronounce it. It's becoming quickly replacing the Google traditional ways of searching. And, I think there's so much more trust that's coming from these products and services too. And I don't know, you might know more about it than I do, Emily, but I haven't seen the sponsored stuff that's coming through those products yet, but maybe that's the next iteration of, if I'm those businesses, well, I'm thinking about my billions of dollar valuations, and so probably putting paid positioning in there is probably not far away if it hasn't already started to happen. Um,
I think that's for ChatGPT. I've heard that that's in the future, but for Claude, no. So
mm,
it is going to be interesting to see which ways the sort of popular AIs are going.
well, I think the biggest thing about AI is trust. Like a lot of people still don't trust wholeheartedly. And when you get to a stage of trust, it's pretty scary, I think, of all the things that are coming, because at the moment we're quite cynical as a race of people, human people. So I don't know. Like, I don't know how it'll evolve, and I'm sure there'll be many experts you can ask about AI. For us, it's just about literally getting our product noticed to
Mm.
to then have conversations. We're not reliant on our website selling for us. We're not reliant on Psyche selling for us, where we're trying to use tools all over the place to make efficiencies, to keep us really lean and focused on what our goals are. And,
Mm.
the Psyche product does that without a huge amount of intervention. So we don't have to spend heaps of time with the team. We just get our reports, and I think Jess might have a meeting monthly or so, and we get a bit of an understanding, but it's not a huge drain of time. And for us, time is money, and time is more relationships, it's more contests we can get to, it's more um, businesses that we can convert, it's more employees that get access to Beny, it's more lives that we change.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that sort of. I think we're like the curve of adoption. I think we're kind of on the up now. So this is a really key time to be showing up in those AI results. It's almost like asking your friend for a recommendation. It's not quite the same as a Google search when you search for, in an AI platform. It almost feels like a friend's recommending something. So if you're showing up in those results, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be on a level with being getting a personal recommendation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think what's also great about it is just the competition, the competitive nature. Like, we've got formidable competition. They're great, and but what's great is winning and beating them, and
They definitely keep you
getting.
on your toes.
Oh, but
Just
it's
keep
I
growing,
love I
right?
love competition. I've always loved competition. Like, I think, if I was running a monopoly, I don't think it would be fun. But running an organization, and like, I've spoken to people and they said, "What are you doing this? Don't do this. This is crazy." And don't start betting. This is not a good idea. And I love that. I love that, because there's industries that are rife for disruption, and you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel to disrupt. You just have to be excellent at what you do.
Mm.
And, this is a great tool for us, because we obviously we're getting to more contests, and the more contests we get to, the more opportunities we've got to disrupt.
Absolutely. So, work us with what working with Psyche looked like and looks like today. How has it worked for you?
Thankfully, that's Jess's domain, Em. In the early stages, we had some really strong catch ups and got a really good understanding of um, what what we sort of wanted to be found for, and we went through a whole range of searches and keywords and what people search for, and we did do some competitor analysis to see what others were coming up on. And then we started to build out a bit of a plan as to what it looked like for Beny and where we wanted to be found, and perhaps where we didn't want to be found as well. And so since then, it's sort of been left to Jess and the Psych account team now to sit down and go, okay, well, this is what's happening here. This is what's going on here. It also should be said that our website's really poor at the moment as well. And, we need to do, and we know that we need to do a lot of work on the website, which I think will increase. traffic and everything and all those other elements too. It's one of those big ticket items that's on the to-do list with another million things that you've got on at the moment.
Of
Um,
course.
but like what's great about it is we're getting the results we're getting now with the website as poor as what it is. So um, and we know that, but we've got to work with the site team to be able to work out ways to deliver
100%.
ongoing and better results. And, it doesn't always have to be month on month, year by year growth. It's just we've got to be there. We've got to be front and center.
I love hearing about a website actually being designed and used to sort of deliver the right message, connect to the right people. I think often businesses will build a very big, fancy website straight out and then never improve on it and never grow. And I love that you've got this reciprocal information coming from Psyche saying, okay, we need this area is working, this is not, so that you can really target what information and what pages are being built. And it looks like, you're on the way to moving to that sort of website 2.0 where you really know what's working and you're going to build to that.
Yeah, totally. And I think in every aspect, right? Our app needs to be better. Our website needs to be better. Our people need to be more efficient. Our strategies in terms of outbound reach need to be cleaner. And they're little incremental things, but if they can be 1%, 2%, 10% better every time in each of those elements, then we become a better business. And that's the goal, to continually hire great people, to continually nurture and care for those people, but also to continually work with great suppliers like Psyche and be able to build those relationships to achieve win-win outcomes. And that's probably the definition for me around commercial, is how do you create win-win outcomes that are sustainable.
Absolutely amazing. So, what results have you seen? I know we tapped on that a little bit earlier, but I would love to know, like, what impact has Psyche made on your business in real numbers?
Yeah, it's in real numbers. There's probably been 4 or 5 bigger accounts that we've landed just due to inbound traffic, and there's more in the pipeline around that as well. What's also been really interesting is in this year alone, we've had meetings with 3 of the big 4 banks. We've had meetings with Australia's most well-known hardware retail store. We've had meetings with their most well-known paint producer in Australia. We've had I could probably keep going for I won't name names because I don't know whether I'll get into trouble but they're all genuine meetings. They're all genuine pipeline scenarios now for Beny. In our wildest dreams, we expected this organisation to be purely working with medium-sized companies, not with these bigger businesses. And there's elements of that that's, we get a phone call and they might have heard about us from multiple sources, but sales and marketing are all about sort of 7 points of contact, and they're about trust building before you get that meeting, if that makes sense. It's taken time. We're 18 months into our journey really with Beny, and it takes time to build that trust. It takes time for these businesses to say, yep, you're our partner. But I think that the awareness that's coming, because you might see Beny at one stage and then you might do a search and then the search comes up and you see it again and then you see, okay, who are they up against? And then you review a couple of the competitors and you go, okay, well, why Beny? Why us? And our simplicity and our value are significantly greater than our competition. There's a lot of it at play, what's attributed to Psyche versus attributed to businesses we've already won or our outbound reach or any of those sorts of things. Sometimes hard to tell, but it's all, it's in business, you've got to try and make sure you're covering off angles everywhere to give yourself the best chance of finding the wins.
Absolutely. And I think I see two sides to being in search. One is obviously discoverability, brand awareness. You want to be in that market research that they're doing for a service. But I
Yeah,
think it also provides a second thing, which is trust, right? If you're showing up in organic searches, if you're being recommended by these AI platforms, for a lot of people immediately like, oh, this is a serious player. You know,
yeah.
this especially like I saw a search result where Beny was like the first one mentioned. Like I don't think you can argue against that. If it's the first one, your brain automatically ranks it first. So
Mm.
to be in those kind of searches, to be in those kind of um, market researchers, these teams considering you after 18 months, I mean that's incredible,
Yeah,
really.
it's amazing. It's amazing when you think about these billion-dollar companies that we're up against. So it's yeah, we love it. It's great.
So beyond the numbers, what's actually changed for you or your team day to day? Like, is there anything that's changed for you?
Um, I think we're very, very focused on what we're trying to produce. I mean, for us, there's sort of three areas in Benny that we're really targeting regularly. Like we want fantastic deals on the platform. That is becoming easier. Like we are getting a lot of inbound companies now, reputable companies saying, "Hey, can we put a deal on Benny to create, lead generation flow for that business?" And our scale of people that are coming onto the platforms now enabling better conversations, stronger deals, which in turn helps the consumer. That part of it is super important for us. The other part that's super important is for us to be able to get our brand and our name to those people making decisions in businesses to give this to their employees. So, we need the people and culture functions to be aware that Benny's here. We need CEOs to be aware that Benny is here. We need chief financial officers also to know that Benny is here and well priced. And then I think for us too, that simplicity of the journey. So we sort of have three customers really. We have the businesses that we need to keep happy. We have the employees of the businesses that we need to keep happy. And then we need to have our suppliers that we get great deals from and keep happy as well. So there's a bit of complexity around that. Um, but at the end of the day, they're our focuses. So what we aim to build and have suppliers that help us take away anything that's noise and anything that's admin away from those three things.
Hmm.
So for us, our focus is always on it's based, they're our customers, but they're the three types of customers, and that's what we aim to do, is to have our team completely focused on that so that our suppliers that are working with us can be focused on what we need them to be so we can completely stick to that.
It sounds like the tides are turning slightly because before it was very much you pushing out a lot, but with, you getting more brand awareness, people seeing how amazing your service is, you're starting to get that sort of coming to you now, right? So it kind of changes the dynamic, but it's also, I think, making sure that you're still showing up in search is all part of that, right? Like how it changes in the dynamic. You need to be showing up in those searches so that they're still coming to you, right? And that takes some pressure off you as well, I assume.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all of those things. All right. And it's business journey too. When you are in startup land, which we're probably more in scale up land now, but when you're in startup land, it's a grind. You're working hard. You're you will probably take what you can get in some instances. We didn't have a great product 12 months ago. It was okay and it was
Mm.
getting better. Our product's good now. It will be great. And but it takes time. And the flywheel that they talk about in business just takes time to move. At the start, when you first jump on, you're pushing, but it's not moving very fast. And so the momentum's starting to really come for Benny now. And though that momentum comes from time in market. It comes from, as you said, trust. It comes from building opportunities through multiple channels to show businesses that we are the real deal. We're here to stay, and that we're going to continue to disrupt this market and have a bit of fun.
One of the things I'm hearing that I'm really excited about is that you're not satisfied with just being a good product. You're constantly thinking, how can we make this a better product, not just for our clients, not just for the people that the companies that are doing the offers, also all three of those people that you're working with. You want to make sure that this is the best product possible. So that kind of ties into my final question, really, is like, what's next for Beny? Where's the future taking you? What's exciting? What's on the horizon?
That's a good question, Em. We'd love to take business overseas. We've launched in New Zealand, but we would love to see if we can break into some other markets and test out how this product works against some of the competitors that are in multiple regions. We want to be unbelievable here as well, as the first and foremost. Like, let's be unreal in Australia. The product's built globally. We're ready to go anywhere. We need to then source the deals. The best deals come from the third tier players. The businesses looking to take market share that want your business but have good products. And so for us, it's about identifying those products in other regions as well, and services, so that we can bring them into Beny and offer closed audience, fantastic deals to businesses or to people. So it's, I don't know, the sky's the limit, but we just want to make sure, I don't know, I think for us, there's a lot of pride in the product. We love feedback. We don't love bad feedback, but we learn from that. And I think we love it when we hear great feedback, and that's amazing as well. So I think there's, we're not going to stop. We're going to be the best, and whether or not that's the best in this country or it's in multiple, time will tell. It's just a little bit more around, let's get the bones and the foundations right first. Let's get the model and everything set up so that we can replicate that on a global scale.
And a platform like Psyche is amazing for being able to tap into new markets, right? Because if you can target those search terms, those keywords, like in those new markets, you're going to be able to show up there as well, right? You can replicate. It's something I think that's easy to, once you've understood how it works for your business, you can then replicate it for different markets.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. So I think and that's probably been another key thing is picking partners that can take it globally from the get-go is another key strategy, I suppose, if you'd call it strategy, but it's just more of a growth plan, if you like.
No, it's perfect. So before we close out, is there anything else you'd love to share with us or about your time with Psyche?
Oh, look, it's been great, Em. I really appreciate everything, and we're more than happy to do this sort of setup for your organisation, and we look forward to continually working together collaboratively to achieve great results for each other.
We're really looking forward to working with you. So thank you so much for sharing today. And thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Sam. See you later.
Wonderful.